Truly the best start to my morning is this amazing coffee machine. Don't mind the dust, it gets used a lot. And now the most difficult decision I'm going to make today. Which coffee mug do I use? Ah yes, excellent choice. It was a Christmas present many moons ago, and it has been the gift that keeps on giving because it saves me from going to the expensive $7 a cup coffee joints. You know who I'm talking about. If you do ever see a machine like this on sale, I do absolutely recommend it. It is one of the best purchases, quite seriously, that we have ever made. Ah yes, the part of the day where I try and eat a meal while not staring at a project that I absolutely left for myself the night before. That's pretty usual. Let's get to work. First thing in the morning, I do product photography, and today's product is fabric, because, well, I have a crap load of it if you've been on this channel for more than approximately 10 seconds. What I am doing is I make sure to take a flat lay photo, a photo with a ruler, and a swirl so that people can kind of get the idea of the lay of the fabric. The goal of the photography is always to keep as few edits as possible, but unfortunately this isn't always how it works. So I start by doing a square photo so that I don't have to edit that down later. And then what I'm trying to do is capture the correct color as well as not only the body of the fabric, but the texture also. Does it always work? No. Do I try my best? Yes, I do. Sometimes I can stay close to the fabric, and other times I have to get slightly farther away. This is always to make sure I get as close to the correct coloring as is possible. And unfortunately, with this particular load of vintage fabric, there are just sections of the fabric that are just too damaged to sell, and so I do have to cut those away, which you'll see me doing here. I do also use my scissors to try my best to point out the discolorations as I find them, but that also sometimes, when going through this much fabric, occasionally it does get missed. But now it's time for a little mental health break. I did get a fair amount of projects done, and now it's dog o'clock.
Hi, puppies. Hi, puppies.
We'll go outside? Come on, let's go. Come on. Go! And now that everyone is relieved and treated, Candy, up. Good girl. Let's head to therapy. Because your mental health is just as important as your physical health.
1 hour later.
And now, back to work. Because I was trying to get through as much of this fabric today as possible. However, I did lose the light a little bit earlier due to some of the rainstorms that have been happening down here in Florida, so I don't get through quite as much as I wanted to, but I did give it my best shot. And I did get them all up the next day. But never fear, I do quite the contortion sometimes to get these photos vaguely correctly colored. Hi, hello. I only got through about half of what I was hoping to today, let's be very honest. Because of therapy and processing and just general mental health balance in life. Balance? What is that? I only got through about half of it because up in this room, the light is only so good through a certain point of the day. So like right now it is 1:50 in the afternoon and it is already too cool to really take any more photos today up here. Now, what I can do, I laid out a huge spread of buttons downstairs and I have not taken photos of those yet. And now is the correct o'clock to go take button photos downstairs. So let's head downstairs and do that now, shall we? And yes, I take a lot of photos in this job. Fabrics that got done, fabrics that did not get done. But first, let's look at some of my favorites. Andy. Is that for you? And go! And now that the dog has been given her midday snack, it's time for buttons. And honestly, with the number of carded buttons that I received in this lot, this isn't even a quarter of them. It's probably closer to 1/10 what you see on this table, because the box that held the buttons is very large, and I have barely scratched the surface. But I find that I can't take on too much at once because if I do too many products of the same kind at one time, it overwhelms my mental ability as what I can do every day. So what I'm trying to do is do a nice balance of fabrics, patterns, buttons, and other assorted things as I find them. So that way there's a good balance not only on my website, but also just for my daily listing habits. Even Mr. Canada asked if he could help with the buttons today because there were just so many to get through. Making a mess for the gram? Check. And now, you gotta put it back so that you can actually list them all. I did this in the wrong order today, but we just kept moving forward. And now comes the task of listing them all one by one. And why, you may ask, am I listing them one by one as opposed to doing large lots so I can chew through this as fast as possible? The answer is because in my heart of hearts, all I want to do is have a cute little vintage sewing shop where folks can go and find vintage buttons, patterns, notions, fabric, and make their own projects all custom. I logically know that if I were to do them in much larger groups, they would sell a lot faster, and I would get my garage back much, much sooner than I will at the pace I'm going at. However, I like the direction my website is going, and I don't intend to stop. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer. Now it's dog walking time. And with a successful walk achieved, it was time to turn to dinner. And since Mr. Canada was taking the task of acquiring the daughter, I was tasked with doing the dinner. Originally I was just going to start it, but then it turned into just me doing it because, let's face it, it's macaroni and cheese, and that is right up my alley for simple cooking. This is just my brief PSA to say, season your food. That's right, folks. Season your food. Even if it is one multi-seasoning, season your food. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. In this house, separate spoons are key, because this will be for my daughters, this will be for mine, because they can't cross, because she's allergic to mine and I'm allergic to hers. And while everything was simmering and boiling, it was time to clean off the giant button mess that I had left on the table earlier, because I hadn't done that yet. And after dinner, it was time to christen the Christmas tree. And by Christmas tree, I mean we're going to use our hollow taco polishes from Christine.
That's like a little darker than this one, right?
Yes. So the whole family got a Christmas-flavored manicure tonight. Don't judge me, I'm not a professional. It is what it is.
Good girl.
And with another good round of play with the dog, it was time to finish the task that had been started earlier in the day. The first and biggest task was going to be, that's right, organizing all the buttons that I have organized and deorganized and organized and deorganized multiple times through the day. But this time it's for good, because now they're all going to sit in their happy little box until they get bought and find new homes. And because Mr. Canada was home, he was able to do bedtime, and so I was able to measure and list all the fabric. And in case you're wondering, no, I'm not staring lovingly into the end of this bolt. What I am doing is I am counting every 2 loops, counts as a yard, to get an estimate for how many yards are on each bolt. Thank you to all of those in my comment section that taught me that cute little hack. And with them all measured, it was time to do the final tedious thing of the day, list them all. The best part about listing all of these brand new fabrics is that every time I go in to look at my website in its finished state, it feels fresh and new. All these new fabrics with new possibilities for new projects for everyone. And that's the type of feeling that lets me know the day is done. And that tomorrow always brings the possibility for more sewing in chaos. Done!